Austraeoh by Imploding Colon, read by Deathlight, Chapter 183, Change. Emberspeak drifted into the infirmary, her ears twitched at the sound of a familiar voice. She stuck her head through the dangling curtains and gazed with curiosity. So I got frustrated and felt it was time to end all the craziness. So I flew straight into the cave and kicked the dragon in the face. Rainbow Dash exclaimed. Several fools murmured in amazement. Really? You kicked a dragon? You smacked his face around and you lived? How come it didn't burn you or anything? It's simple, really, Rainbow said as Emberspeak trotted closer. Seeing Rainbow seated beside Swirls and several fools who were listening with wide eyes of amazement. I got my lousy flank saved by a good friend of mine. Heck, she saved all of our butts. Her name is Fluttershy, and if it wasn't for her, I'd be stuck between a pair of dragon's teeth to this day. What did Fluttershy do? Limetech asked in a breathless voice. Did she beat the dragon up? Oh no, nothing like that. Another fool bounced and uttered. Did she drop a bomb death water on the dragon's scales? Or set it on fire? Rainbow Dash smirked and shook her head. None of the above, kiddos. She leaned forward and said, Fluttershy gave the dragon a stern talking to. Huh? You heard me right. She flew up, squatted right on the snout of the big red thing, and told it how mean I'd been. Fluttershy stood up for me and the rest of our friends. She made the dragon realize how rude I'd been to have polluted Equestria smog in the first place. A cult made a face. That's lame. The other fools giggled. Hey, that lameness saved my neck. And it also taught me something, a special truth that I think about even to this day. Rainbow glanced at Swirls and said, every pony can make a difference, whether strong or weak, brave or scared, or even awesome or lame. Swirls coughed and smiled gently. This Fluttershy sounds like an inspiring individual. Rainbow opened her mouth, but paused. She swallowed and nodded. She was. Rainbow eventually breathed. It's been so long since I heard her voice, and for what I'm about to do, I could use a healthy dose of kindness. What about luck? Emberspeak said. Swirls and the fools looked up. Rainbow Dash turned around and smirked. What you call luck, I call intestinal fortitude. Good. Emberspeak nodded with a coy grin. Then you're gonna want to gather up your bowels. Her face fell with a solemn expression. Night has fallen, it's time. Rainbow started back, slowly, with a flap of her wings. She rose from the edge of Swirl's bed. Well, a dragon matriarch won't talk itself out of killing ponies, I guess. Rainbow Dash? Limetech scrambled over and gazed up at her. Don't go! Of course I gotta go, little dude. Rainbow exclaimed with a smile. How else will I go about coming back? But the place you're going is really scary and dangerous and full of dragons. Sounds like a good way to end the day. Rainbow said with a wink. We've been through this, kid. That is full of unicorns got their job to do, and I've got mine. I'm hoping like heck that my job will trump his, but that's something only time will tell. Rainbow Dash wants to fix things the peaceful way, Limey. Emberspeak added, trying to mimic Rainbow's daring grin. This is her one and only opportunity before we go through with the grand project. Limetech shifted nervously, his eyes beginning to water. But she has so many stories to tell. She lived such an amazing life. Awesome! It's an awesome life! Why does every pony always get the wrong A word? Geez! A nearby filly's face scrunched up. Geese? I meant geez. Whatever. Rainbow Dash touched down and straightened Limetech's goggles before brushing a hoof through his mane. I don't blame you for being worried, kid. I'd also be scared if I thought the world was gonna end up any less cool overnight. but I totally have plans to keep flying to wherever I need to go. And that's not gonna happen if I gobbled to bits by a giant dragon queen now, isn't it? It just so happens that you guys really need a breather from all this living underground and being afraid of the skies nonsense. And I happen to be the one pony with wings and a direct line to an alicorn. I gotta do what I gotta do, just like you gotta do what you gotta do. Limetech sniffed. And what's that? Rainbow Dash smiled and tapped his chin. Be there for Zeta, make sure he doesn't trip over himself and ram his horn into a rock or something. Even if that bomb doesn't have to be delivered, he's gotta find a safe place to deposit the death water. Do you think that nutcase hasn't even enough balance on his 4 hooves to do something like that alone? Lemmy gulped and gave a brave smile. I'll make sure Zeta doesn't hurt himself. And I'll make sure that the Dragon Matriarch doesn't hurt any pony else. Rainbow winked. I promise. And then when you get back? Lemmy exclaimed, standing on the edge of his hooves. You'll visit us one more time before heading east and tell us more stories about Fluttershy? Heck yeah! Rainbow Dash's teeth shone in a smile that glinted in the torchlights. I got this well of a doozy involving a scary forest and a huge manicore. Spoiler alert, Fluttershy totally cuddles it. The Phillies and Colts giggled. Above them, Swirl sat up slightly in bed and said, It's good having you around, Rainbow Dash. I know you'll make us and the council proud. I'll sleep better, knowing that at least made Sam Rose sell his armor. She winked, turned around, and walked out of the infirmary with Ember Speak. So long, and thanks for all the falls. They all waved and chanted, Good luck, Rainbow Dash! Outside, in the thin corridors of Sanctuary, Rainbow paused to chuckle in Ember Speak's direction. Kids are wonderful, aren't they? Praise the alicorns that I'm never, ever gonna fool one. The guards have already cleared us for the northwest exits. Ember said as she reached over towards a saddlebag propped up against a wall and started strapping it to herself, along with a crossbow and a quiver. We'll make good time if we stick towards the north edge of the crater. Yeah, what? Rainbow Dash's eyes narrowed on Ember Speak's gear. Just what the hell are you doing? Ember gazed at Rainbow curiously. She fiddled with her quiver and tightened it to herself. Oh, I'm coming with you. Rainbow shook her head. No you're not. Do you know the crater that houses the Matriarch's nest is? Well, no. I figured I'd just fly around in circles until I saw it and get gobbled up by one of her many children in mid-air? Ember shook her head. That wouldn't do you or Sanctuary any good. I've performed the servicing since I was a filly. I'm guiding you to the nest, but it'll be up to you to fly in and personally bridge communication between your Princess Luna and the Matriarch. Rainbow Dash leaned her head to the side with a suspicious squint. Is this some crazy attempt to protect me? Ember Speak needlessly gazed down the corridor for several seconds, then glanced at Rainbow. Yes. Rainbow's jaw tightened. Ember Speak gave a soft smile. Every pony who's ever served with Sam Rose had a family here in Sanctuary to protect. She gulped. Every pony but me. Just because you don't have a direct family doesn't mean you need to risk your life. Ember Speak stared back at her. Do you intend on practicing that yourself? Rainbow Dash was silent. Ember resumed. My concern isn't just for you, but for all of Sylvatal. I know that makes me sound just like His Royal Majesty Sam, but I'm not like him. Do tell. Ember's eyes went soft as she said, What you're trying to do here, what you're promising, is the first gesture of both hope and peace that this place has known for years. It's scary because it's different, and that's why Sam Rose isn't willing to support it. I uphold the values and the wishes of my prince, but I come to discover that he isn't boundlessly courageous. He's frightened of change, and so long that he doesn't face that, I doubt any good would come to this place that had known nothing but horror for ages. Rainbow slowly nodded. She tilted her head forward. Does your high and mighty prince know that you're personally escorting me to the crater? No. So, what you're doing here is essentially a huge slap at Samura's face? Ember blinked a few times before nodding. Affirmative. Great! Rainbow grinned and nudged Ember's Peak along towards the exits. Let's go, girl!